Karen,
Yes.
we've had lots of talented people on the show so far.
We sure have.
We've had psychics, mediums, channelers, healers of all types, all kinds of people.
Mhm.
We've even had an animal communicator.
Yep.
But what if someone didn't just communicate with animals, but was also drawn to paint a picture of the animal's soul as well?
Ooh.
Yeah. And what if this person could create beautiful abstract art, not just from animals and their souls, but from people as well?
Wow.
That's exactly what today's guest does. Not only did she communicate with our dog Hunter, and she'll tell us all about him on the show,
Oh boy.
but he also connected psychically with you, Karen,
Oh my God.
and happened to draw your soul portrait as well.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
We're going to reveal it on this show. Fun times ahead, so don't go anywhere. The Skeptic Metaphysicians starts now. My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
both want to believe.
so we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something
Anything.
that will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the
The
Skeptic
Skeptic
Metaphysicians. Karen, today's main topic is chock full of information. So rather than try to reinvent the wheel, I'm just going to read an introduction for our guest that was sent to us prior to her coming on.
Perfect.
Now, it's a little long, so bear with me. Her press release reads, there have always been two sides to Nicole Harp, the creative art side that lives and breathes art, and the spiritual side with a deep connection to nature and animals. While she has always felt she had to shelve her spiritual side, it seemed to emerge on the canvas in organic brushstrokes and authentic colors. Nicole is a lifelong artist and educator with a communication arts and design degree from Virginia Commonwealth University. She spent most of her career as an accomplished abstract painter, balancing the functions of text and image in her artwork. Now, both sides have come together to enhance her multifaceted career as an animal communicator. Sessions with Nicole allow healing for her clients, both the animal and their guardians. She provides consultations for all animal species and communicates with animals in spirit as well as living. Nicole validates by revealing personal details and the essence of your animal. This meaningful information authenticates the connection only you share with your animal. She communicates and answers questions regarding personality traits, behavior, health, opinions, likes, dislikes, and much more. And Karen,
Yes.
this is exactly what she's done for us.
Yay.
And I'm excited to dive into this. So let's welcome to the show, Nicole Harp. Nicole, thanks for coming on.
Hi, thank you, Will and Karen and Hunter.
Yeah. You probably can't see him. Maybe at some point you'll see him show up in Karen's camera.
I can feel him.
There he is.
Yeah, he's definitely here. So you're going to see him sometimes every once in a while pop in. He definitely did not want to miss this conversation since he said, hey, you're talking about me. I got to be in the room.
And he doesn't have to be in the room, actually, which is good.
Right.
It's telepathic, so he can be anywhere, and you might not see him looking at you. He might just be still sleeping.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. We should mention you did this. You connected with him remotely. You've never met him or us or anything like that. And yet you sent us not only first impressions of Hunter, but you also sent first impressions of Karen.
Yeah.
Get into right now because it's too much. But let's talk about you, Nicole. Animal communicator, but not just an animal communicator. You actually draw portraits of their souls. How did this come about? How did you all of a sudden just felt like, oh, I need to draw this soul on a paint? How does that happen?
Well, it kind of morphed into that. So just a little backtrack. But I've always been I've been a professional artist since 1992, but I've always been an artist. Went to VCU, right? Like second best art school, just have to put that out there. It's a great art. But no, seriously, everything has prepared me for this moment. I feel like in my life, my love and commitment to animals, environment, and nature, in all the projects I've done. I have a art site, professional art website, but that shows all my profession, my CV and everything. But if you look at that, it's all these projects committed to nature and the environment. And I've always asked, what can I do? What more can I do for animals? And I started with, just as a kid and the rescuing, and then went into the shelters and did some development and fundraising. And then I started a business that was all about animals and environment, EcoDog, sustainable dog watering station, took water from the roofs and filtered it into clean drinking water for animals through natural biofiltration. So it's like hit on all the things I love, right? Renewables and innovation. I love innovation. Karen, that's you too. Thinking about things that have never, hey Hunter, that have never happened before. And then, I created a project with the zoo and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I've always asked, what more can I do? I said, there's got to be more I can do for animals. And about 3 years ago, I, had a kind of want to say spiritual awakening, but that's when it kind of, the EcoDog, I was like, this is not flowing. And I started doing human psychic work, intuitive human psychic work. And I still do human communication, but that kind of morphed into animals. So, Will, sorry, the long-winded version of the answer is, I've always been a painter, and everybody has energy. The essence of who you are, you can call it whatever you want, soul, your essence, your true self. That energy has colors that it translates into, and I interpret those colors. So the communication is me connecting to your higher self and your energy. And then I translate that. I'm an abstract painter, always have been. So I know you said portrait, but it is a portrait, but it's an abstract. Yeah.
An abstract portrait. We should have specified. Yeah.
I don't even the soul look like.
Right. And what better way to translate the soul though, right? Into color, shapes, and lines. And
maybe it's not abstract.
And some of them, and if you, right. And some of them become more realistic. We always want to see things in the art, don't we? As humans, we always want to, everybody is born, trying to connect. So in art, when you're looking at, you always want to find something that you can connect with. And hopefully you do in my paintings, but the colors are what resonates.
Right.
So
let's take a look at some of them since she was so
great
to send us some. If you're only listening to the show, if you want to take a look at the paintings, go to our YouTube page. We've got a link on skepticmetaphysician.com. You can go directly to our YouTube page. You can see it. But this is an example of one of the soul paintings that Nicole has done. But she sent us a bunch. That's one. Here's another one. Very interesting, very abstract, as you can see, for sure. And as they go, you can tell some of them are more muted in color. Other ones are more vibrant in color.
Well, why don't you let her talk about it?
Well,
he's doing well. My student, you're doing well. Well, it's interesting, Will, if I were to tell you what they were, because, the goal is to have a show of 200 souls and, show these paintings. But in the book I'm doing, I'm going to have a visual of maybe, if Karen says yes, Karen's face, and a little blurb from the communication, and then the painting on the right. So it is interesting to see, here's Karen, here's my translation of her soul. I mean, I feel like you'll see it, you'll feel it, but they are so different.
Yeah, they really are totally different.
So it's exciting for me. Go ahead, Karen. Sorry.
I have a
Karen, shut me up, please.
I love to hear you.
I just keep getting it out.
No, I have a degree in art, and I used to paint.
Why? Excellent.
So sometimes when I was really upset about something, I would sit there and I would just whip out, just like the emotions come out. So I was wondering, is that kind of how it feels like to you? Like when you're getting this vision of the soul, is it something you just have to get out, or is it just like a gentle, okay, it's like this?
So remember when I said it, like everything's prepared me for this moment? I feel like everything I've been painting has been for someone. And actually, at several points, people people have purchased my work throughout since for years. And some people have said, this is like, they just know they're supposed to have it. And so, but I feel like that's what this is. Like, I'm painting, it is coming through me. I just have the knowledge from a good school to be able to do it well. And so it is coming through me. I'm lucky that way. It's like the communications. Yeah, I feel like I have to get it out. Some will come to me and some I'll ask. Like I've had the red one you saw as a coworker, and I just was pulled to my table to start writing about her.
Beautiful.
And I don't want to tell you too much about her, but
do it.
And right.
That's Will.
Yeah. But she had something traumatic go on in her life, and I was just drawn to this. But it's just like, I wasn't drawn to this before. I've known her for 24 years. But at this point, I was. And that's where we go back to, I feel like the art is healing. I feel like the communications are about healing. What is it that the soul needs for healing? But go ahead.
How large are these paintings? I feel like they need to be huge.
Oh,
I feel like the soul just needs to explode out. Like they need to be.
I love how you think. I love how you think, because I want to do ones. I don't know if you know Kehinde Wiley, but his kitsch is. I love that his paintings are so large they can only be in a museum, and so like they're huge, right? So you either have to have a really big house and lots of money, or be in a museum. So, but I do see I paint with oil sticks. I've always been like and I have energy. I mean, you can probably sense I have a lot of energy, and so especially when I'm talking. I know what.
And you're pulling teeth.
One of the easiest interviews you've ever done.
Yeah. But it's only when I'm talking about my callings, my two callings, right? So if you think about that vertical, more vertical one you saw that had the yellows, it's a puppy collective. So it's like in general, not one puppy, but puppies. And I do see people's souls huge. Like this, some just need to be big. These are 20 by 20 because I'm paying for the supplies, and it's super expensive.
Oh yeah.
It's $1 billion industry. It's super expensive. But they're 20 by 20 on Baroque boards. So they're easily shippable and frameable. It's not going to break the bank.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back then, before we dive into Karen and Hunter. Let's go back to the animal communication side of things, because you connect with them, and based on your impressions, that's where the soul paintings come from. But curious how you connect. Is it something where you can connect to any animal at any time, or is there a specific way for you to do that?
Yeah. So they're all different. Animal communicators are all different. Just like painters, everybody's different the way they do it. And the only way to do it is to do what's authentic for you. And so I do the first impressions. I need a name, and then an image. I don't always need a picture, but it's a little bit easier. And then I do those first impressions. I just, I sit, everybody does it, however, but I sit and bring forth that energy, and then it's a communication, because, we're all sentient beings, and it's a communication opposed to a reading. I'm, open-eyed, connect heart to heart. There's a couple different things. You can do when you're walking, Hunter, but I connect heart to heart. And, I don't feel like I have to. They're all different. Some are like, oh man, I can't wait to talk. Others are like, whoa, what's this? I'm not sure. Others, it really just depends. But I'm just going to say this, and it doesn't sound like, but my love for animals is so deep. I don't feel like I have to tell them, but I come in, they know I love them. I mean, I just love them. If I meet people and they have an animal, I go straight to the animal. And a lot of people are like that, but, I kind of just, I'm here, I'm friends, your parents' friends. If they're kind of standoffish, introduce myself, and I just let it flow. Like a conversation. Hey, I don't ask what they do for a living, because that's super short. But yeah, just interact with them. And then I get those first impressions. And if that sounds like your animal, then great. Then we move on with the full communication. But I did it with a gecko family that lives here and I live on the water, so I do have lots of fowl and all. And I've communicated with birds and cats and dogs. So you can do it. There's lots of animal communicators who are trying to change the world by connecting with whole species. And I have done that in a group collective, and it is freaking powerful. It's amazing. Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. And we can change the world by connecting with animals. They're sentient beings. And I want to say this, Will and Karen, we all come from the same source, right? You call it whatever you want. God, prana, source. We all, animals and humans, all come from the same place.
Sure.
So that, that living in harmony and that relationship, if it can be understood better, we can live better.
I agree with that 100%.
Do you ever communicate with any animals that have passed?
Always. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, yes, meaning like, yes. And it's very healing. Sick animals that are coming into a new home. It's interesting because they're all about, animals, they live in the present moment, right? They're just Zen masters. And,
I'm super envious.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's what they're here to teach us, to be present.
Oh.
So I always tell my client, please, by the way, please, just because it's helpful, I think, sign on to my newsletter, because I send out newsletters that information the animal gives me to help us on our journey, humans on our journey. And one of the things they say is like, get down with them 3 times a day on their level and be present. And to get rid of the chattering mind, spend time with your animal one-on-one. It will totally, exactly. It will, you don't have to try to stop the chattering mind. It'll happen.
I mean, I'm on the floor under half the day.
Good for you, Karen. I love that you've set up your life that you can do that.
Yeah. Which is why you're his favorite.
It's interesting. So the reason I was asking about animals in the past is I had a dog she was almost 16 when she passed. Beautiful. The best dog ever. Oh my God. Kira was just amazing. And it took me about 6 years to get over her to be willing to get another dog, because I was just devastated. She was this Weimaraner Doberman mix and just perfect, except for she stunk. And she had allergies to everything. So the day we got Hunter, we got him on Valentine's Day, and which, by the way, was her birthday, which was just a random, plan. Yeah. I was talking with Will and Sienna. I said, I wonder what Kira would think about this and how she would feel. So later that night, I open up Facebook and scrolling, and the first memory that pops up is a picture of Kira, just kind of looking at me with a little hat of
thumbs up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess she's okay with this.
She wants you to be happy.
Yeah.
I mean, you communicate with them. It's never about like how, oh, poor me, passed or whatever. First of all, they're always with you. And she was help orchestrating you, you all adopting Hunter. And she showed you that by, putting it's not stuff we're making up. It is working in synchronicity, and things just flow like that. But they're always about how to ease our grief when I talk to them. And just like I had a client who was just so devastated she couldn't save her dog. It was during COVID, and her dog he said, "You saved me." I mean, it took a year for that animal so abused to be able to trust humans again. And she's like, "Don't you get that you did save me?"
No,
I'm gonna start crying.
I'm
serious. I'm like shaking them, but it is. They're here. It's all about our grief and easing that, and that's that presence. And they're just, there's no word for them.
Yep.
Like,
it's amazing. Everyone talks about the unconditional love every time you see them for the first time. I'm upstairs. I come downstairs, and as soon as he hears me coming downstairs, he steps at the bottom of the stairs and just wags his whole body. I saw you like 12 minutes ago.
Brand new moment, brand new day.
Yeah,
loves
so
the morning. Oh my God, good morning are his favorite words.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. So he's here to teach you to be more present, to slow down.
Okay, I got you, Hunter. I'll try to focus on it.
And what's crazy is the more you slow down, the more you get things done. The more you get done. I'm saying that because I'm saying that for me. Everything's for what I can learn, right? So it is true. It is true. Yeah.
So when you communicate with them, do you, and it could be very different. Everybody might be different, but is it just like a cognizant type of thing where you just know, or is it you hear them, or do you actually have a dialogue with them? How does that work?
Right. Well, people get it all different ways, and I do get it all different ways, and you can practice to your ways. But since I'm an artist, I do get lots of drawings, which is the best. And I'm always, I'm never unsure when I get a drawing. It's them showing me mind to mind, image to image. And sometimes they'll specify, you need to draw this. You need to draw this. But I get it with just words or an image. Sometimes they'll give me songs. That's awesome. Like tell my guardian this, give my guardian this song. And it doesn't mean it's that you'll know it. It may be what's for you at the time. Doesn't mean you're like, that song I knew when I was 8, but it's the words in the song maybe, but they're always looking for ways to connect to you and for you to continue what your gift is, Karen and Will, is that interaction with the animals, rescuing. I'm assuming you rescued.
We did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
Well, before we continue on, we've got to take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to dive into all of this stuff, but even deeper. And we're going to go into your communication with Hunter and your psychic impression of Karen, and we will reveal Karen's soul portrait.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're just getting started. Stay with us. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Skeptic Metaphysicians. We are talking to Nicole Harp. She's animal communicator, soul painter. And before we left, we were talking about how she communicates with animals. We looked at some of the paintings that she's done over the years that she's been doing this. And we teased the fact that she graciously decided to do one for Karen. She communicated with Karen psychically. And she did send over her initial impressions of Karen. And Karen, do you remember our impression when she first sent that over to us?
I do. It's very interesting.
Yeah. I remember when I was playing it for us, the two of us, all we were doing was looking at each other going, oh my gosh, you had nailed Karen so hardcore. There were some certain things that Karen's like, I'm not sure. And I reminded her of some things. She went, oh my God. So things that were even hidden from her that you were able to call out. Now, is it the same? Do you connect with people the same way that you connect with animals, or is that different?
I connect the same way.
Okay.
I do. They're not like, I guess the owners would be the one like Karen and seeing if it resonates. But I may say one thing to that, Will, about with Karen. When it's about you, it's like when you're in the doctor's office and you need someone to hear what's going on, because when it's about you, you miss a lot.
Mm.
Well, that's the same thing when you're getting, and it may be things you know or you don't know, or they're kind of so subconscious, so it is interesting that Will is, and I see him do it often in the show, remind you of, but it's so easy to see. It's so easy for Will to see. And that just makes you humble, Karen. It's just sweet. It's sweet that you do that, because I feel like when it is about you, it's hard to, it's hard to see it at the time.
But to your point, when people keep reminding her, keep pointing it out to her, you think eventually she'd go, okay, fine.
Well, it is about like what you're calling, right? It's everything is like, I think the woman you had on before that last episode, I shouldn't be too many things that are new, but what is awesome, like with animal communication and speaking to Karen's higher self, if you do want new ideas, where should I go for a career? I'm not sure. That's where you can get them. That's what's fascinating. Hunter will tell me things like, he showed the pile of sticks in the backyard. I think you may have sticks that need to be picked up. Well, he's got a game that can kill, or not say kill, which can arrive with two things at once. The stick game he came up with to bring the sticks, and will collect the sticks so you don't have to do it. They give you ideas that are cost nothing, that will help make your life and their life better.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that we've had Karen wait long enough. Let's dive into your impressions of her, and then through the course of the conversation, we will reveal the portrait.
I won't hit anything. I don't think anything was too personal anyway, Karen, right? Yeah.
I'm a crier, just so you know.
Okay. I'm a different book. I'm a crier. But I don't know if there's anything crying or criable, but I did highlight some things. So in the beginning of the communication, I talked about you and Will getting together and kind of your journey together. So just that Karen was the one you were supposed to be with and walk through this life with. The energy pull that pulled you two together. Great thing is you're growing and learning together, because when one grows and the other one doesn't, tend to leave someone behind. So it's great that you just have this, I'm going to call spiritual awakening, but whatever you call it, that you have, I do feel like you're seeing things differently than you did 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And something to be said about that, like having a spiritual awakening or like a second career, like those people live longer because you're happier. And, but for Karen, I got this drawing of an octopus, right? Well, they're brilliant too, but, this arms moving all about and all these tentacles. So the word soul seeker came out, and like a visual of an octopus with long outstretched arms and multiple things like this, that you have all these things that you could do. So you're very analytical, you're smart. And there's a drawing here of you in front of a little school desk, right? One of those wooden school desks, so yeah, that's you. And that comes naturally. It's that I see you at an old school desk. Karen's writing diligently as she does everything. But then there's the creative side of you kind of skipping around, but
it's good that you call that out, because she's very smart. In fact, she has 2 degrees, and one of them is in anthropology. And the other one is in art. Right.
When one's not enough.
Yeah.
That's I started out in engineering. So I've kind of all the classes the college had. I took them all.
Yeah. She loved going to school, which is not me.
Loved it.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Who doesn't love learning? Were those fulfilling for you? I mean, did you end up doing something with those degrees, or did you not go that route?
Well, A little bit, yes and no. So with anthropology, I actually ended up teaching. I taught Spanish and I taught art and I taught anthropology at a prep school for about 10 years. And then from then, I haven't really done much with those. I used to paint, I've sold a few paintings, but I just then.
It is a tragedy that she's not still painting. We have an easel right here in this room that she's super talented, but she's not really done much with it.
Time.
Well, you make the time.
If that's what you want to do, right? I mean, are you doing what you want to do, Karen?
I'm doing a lot of things.
Yeah, thus the octopus. Yeah.
Well, and that's a good thing for like communications to kind of help you. Not getting off topic because everything comes back to fruition. I'll come back to this, but years before I started doing this, I had a reading from an astrologer that I go to every 2 years. He's amazing. He's local. You should totally get a communication from him, whatever he calls it, astrology reading. But he talked about shamanism, and we're like, my partner and I are like, whatever, shamanism, psychic stuff. And then, 3 years later, that's what I ended up doing. But back to Karen. So really, Karen. Go ahead.
I was going to say, when you said the thing about the octopus, I was like, I can hug a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I am super touchy-feely. I touch everybody. And I have to make myself stop. People don't like that.
Me too, Karen. Me too.
Let's go back to this. Let's go back to that. I got that. Let's go back to that part then about your need to move and dance in your arms and your like that touching. So I see you dancing around with veils, colorful, smiling, needing to dance, feeling all the stuck past emotion and getting unstuck and coming away from your bones and ligaments. Dancing is the healing for you. You should always dance around in place with others and movement, move your body, soul. It's your soul's healing. It's a creative outlet for you. And Karen, if you're not doing one creative outlet that you should, it'll manifest in other ways, right? Cooking, dancing, you'll be creative in other things.
You just mentioned two things that she does avidly, cooking and dancing. So they're all coming at one time and all of it's coming.
And they make fun of me at work because I'm the floor manager for the show and I'm usually dancing around
with dancing, cooking and dancing. Catch me.
Yeah.
So, and not to mention you dance beautifully, or Will would say profoundly beautiful, whatever. I quotes. I see belly dancing too, like that type of even more opening up your chakras with the belly dance.
Yeah, the interesting thing, we met right before Halloween, the very first year. She dressed as
a belly dancer.
Belly dancer.
I take the lessons. I can do the dance.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. My spouse can belly dance as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I just belly.
It's a she, so that you don't visualize a man belly dancing, which is nothing wrong with that.
No worries. Not at all. Not at all.
It's just, it's cute visual actually of a man doing it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I mean, our hair with fluid hips.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like your supersonic highway to the spirit realm. So if you wanted to do this, you could. And what I mean is, so I'm asking questions like, did you want to study the supernatural or energy or light when you were younger? Did you feel this energy early on, or did you shelve it? Mm-hmm. So I just have this picture, this drawing of you, super highway.
That's yes to all of those questions.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me stop you for a second, because I think it's important to mention that when you first reached out to us, you mentioned that it was really important you'd not listen to any of our shows or watch any of our shows because you wanted to get a clear impression of us, of Karen, without being influenced. So you had not listened to us at all until after we had said, yes, the impressions are great, let's schedule on your show. And then that's when you started listening to or watching the show. So Karen, all of these impressions that she was getting prior to knowing you at all, which is the most astounding thing of it all.
It really is.
It was like a month and a half ago, maybe, or something. And then I only listened to your show a little bit to see if you were like how you were, like you weren't crazies or like extremists. I'm like, well, I was like, I better like check out what I'm asking to be on. But it's like, okay, they sound normal. You're not normal, you know what I mean? And so I listened to just one the other day, and I was like, well, it's a good thing I've done my communication, because she did the one on the names.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have everything coming out from your spirit realm. That's the angelic realm, that super highway of coming in, coming out, you getting information and then communicating information to others, whether you chose to do that in a artistic way or verbal way. So it actually, you exist better in that unknown realm, Karen. And then your gift is actually 2 feet outside of your comfort zone. And I can relate to that because you perform better 2 feet like outside of that comfort zone, where it's not I would say left and right brain, because that's been debunked, but it's not the analytical where it's been proven, but You take all your awareness and then you synthesize and use it to something that's innovative and creative. Deep truth and honesty about who you are and opening into who and what you will be. Acknowledgement and understanding of who you are and what you are here to share and teach. It's interesting. You're a teacher. You taught art. I teach art.
Oh, wow.
And have for 24 years. So that's phasing out. And this is full-time phasing in.
It's interesting to hear someone talk to you about yourself when they're talking to you about things that you're just starting to become aware of. It's like, this is a fact. And I'm like, I'm just learning about this. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
How did you know before I really knew?
Right.
No, it's
right.
To give us the courage, right? The courage to step into our, I don't want to say this word just came up, divine presence. I mean, it's not how I speak, woo-woo. I don't speak and not that that's woo-woo, but it is the courage, like to be yourself and to be your divine presence. And that is the true joy.
Yeah, I love that term, divine presence. And Karen knows exactly why I'm saying that in the way that I'm saying it. Yes, she is an angel. She's an angel among us, and she is divine for sure. So, well, Karen, on top of doing first impressions, like I mentioned, she actually was drawn to paint your soul. So I'm going to now, without further ado, if you're only listening to the show, you're only getting a portion of the information. You should definitely check out our YouTube page so you can see. Here we go. Drum roll. Bam. Here is your soul portrait.
You'll have it in person because I'll give it to you. And I actually have it behind me too, but you have to look at it close, Karen, and look at the textures and the lines. But
yeah,
it's that energy moving up.
I've got to show Karen here because what you don't see is Karen's reaction was an immediate and full.
Karen,
waterworks galore.
Well, it's so when I was younger, when I was in college, that's when I was really kind of getting into all of this and letting myself feel everything before it got shelved. And I had this dream. And I used to have a lot of dreams with this same theme, but the one that really stands out in my head, I was this older woman. I guess I'm older now, so maybe that's me. But, and I had taken a group of people to, the word that just came to me was the veil. There was like a wall.
I remember this.
And they were sitting in front of me and I was talking to them. And I was like this wise old woman. And when I saw that painting, I'm going to lose it.
Aww.
Oh my God.
It is. That's what I see. I see the bigger figure and then like the three students. That was the color. It was the color of the wall.
Oh my goodness.
So isn't that interesting? So I'm just going to say I feel like, okay, this moment was like kind of predestined, supposed to happen. So when I feel like, I love that our souls met
validation.
I love that our souls are meeting that way. I like the soul. It's soul to soul. Well, let me tell you what
before you go there, one thing I want to mention about painting, one more thing is the overall color, the yellow. When Karen meditates, she has from almost the very beginning, she's mentioned that she sees a swirl of purple, which is everyone knows is the divine color, and yellow. It's always been those two colors. And Karen, if you're talking about taking someone to the veil and the veil was like this, then it would make sense.
And it's weird because I've always just said I was taken to this wall. There's this wall, this vibrant wall behind us. And just today I was like, that's the veil. Wow, this is freaking.
Okay, sorry about that, Nicole.
And I love that we don't have to use the labels that we put on things like veil or wall, like it's a flat wall. There's nothing happening. I love that color can be the communicator because great art's great when it's ambiguous, right? And the ambiguity speaks to you. Yeah, rabbit. The ambiguity speaks to you. But if I had to in the communication, if I had to say what the colors meant, like white is your awakening, blue is the connection to spirit, red is your creativity, and that's just it's not that, oh, you don't have a little there. It's where you're allowing that creative, let it come out. And it's all going to that realm that we talked about, the superhighway. Your yellow is your gut knowing that you've always had and listened to, whether you know it or not. And your light, and it's why people are drawn to you. And it's undeniable, Karen, if you just this moment. So, it's interesting we'll have to follow you and see what you do. I mean, no pressure, Karen.
Not at all.
And no pressure. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad that.
Yeah.
I hope you like it. I'm glad you.
I love it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
You mentioned earlier on that one of these things where when people see their soul paintings, it's like, I must have it. I must have it. I think this is definitely, I would say, pretty safe bet to say that Karen must have this painting. So we'll have to talk after we stop recording.
It's just so weird. I mean, that's just so weird.
Is it weird or is it like this? Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't thought about that dream in a long time and just instantly saw it. I mean, it's been years since I've really thought about that dream. Yeah. But I remember that dream very vividly, and that's
right. And it's all the more interesting that you hadn't thought of that dream in such a long time. And the minute you saw the painting, it was instant. Yeah. It was an instant knowing.
Makes us wonder what we remember, our subconscious and our conscious, and that it's so much beyond this physical form, that we are just so much more, that essence of who we are, or who our animal is, and
so energy. When you're painting, are you thinking about stuff, or are you just
no? Honestly, I get myself out of the way. I mean, in communication too, it's just like, just get out of your own way. Mm-hmm. And with the paintings, so I kind of give myself up to it, and which is wonderful because I spent years torturing myself in the studio. Torturing myself, like, asymmetrical balance, focal point, rule of thirds, and it wasn't enough. But I will, I kind of have to help myself. It seems like I say spirit because I'm not doing this; it's coming through me. I mean, it's nothing Nicole's doing, but the teaching has prepared me. The academia has prepared me, and I do teach this. So not this, but I teach art. So that. But I just kind of get out of my own way, and I'll ask, I'll just kind of present, I don't know, like sitting in the power, whatever, present. And I paint, and I just, first when I think about your soul, I got an image and I started sketching it out. And then the colors just come. And I have to trust that it's right. And if I start thinking and not trusting, that's when I get all discombobulated. So no, you trust and it just comes out. And, and I know paint enough how to move it, and I know lines, and
I'm not even going to ask you, Karen, how you feel now, because we all can see it very obviously.
I'm glad you like it, Karen. I'm glad it resonated with you, I should say. Not, you don't have to like it. I mean, but I'm glad it resonated with you.
No, I would say safely that it certainly resonated with her. For sure.
God, yes. Yeah. Crazy.
Well, now we're almost out of time, but I definitely want to talk about the fact you are working on a book right now, right? A coffee table book. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I'm working on depending on how much it costs to print, if I get an agent, how thick it'll be. But the goal is to have a thick coffee table art book. So, 2 seconds or less. My mom's got dementia and she's in hospice. And
so sorry.
So the book, she's from New York City. My mom, born and raised in Manhattan, always supported my art. She was going to museums and stuff when she was a kid, taking the crosstown bus, East 81st. Yeah. So she's always been a huge supporter of that. And so the book is going to be a dedication to my mom, my uptown girl or whatever, she'll love that. And I can see it in New York coffee shops and high-end bars, but a big coffee table art book with like the painting on one side, maybe square, big painting on one side, and then the communication on the other.
And it's an animal communication, right?
Animals, human. I do human spiritual guides. I have some that are person and her spiritual guide, past animals, past humans, the client, her son and her grandfather, whoever. It's just souls. So whatever souls, and then I see a show down the road, like 200 souls, and have the big ones and the small ones together. And
very, very cool.
I'm looking for an agent now. So if you know anyone, please.
You heard it here first. If you're an agent, we got the hookup. So you were nice enough to send us some samples of the book, and we're going to share them here. This is kind of what it would look like. Right? This is Wolfie. And you've got his communication there on the left, and you've got his painting on the right-hand side. Now, this painting got my attention because there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear the Guardians. That was just a little sniglet from his communication because they're about like 30 minutes long or maybe 8-9 pages. But it's interesting. He showed me his teeth, his pearly whites, because he had unhealthy teeth grunt, in his lifetime, but Northern Lights. And that's the title. And that's interesting. His strength and his devotion, yet I'm just like looking at it and saying that, but I can't remember what his mother said. It's on my website, but the way she described the painting was beautiful. I could not describe it any better. So the thing with my mom, I painted her heaven because with dementia, you can't focus. And, your noises are distracting. And so I have the painting above her bed and so she can see it. And when she does see it and latch on, she just like kind of stays in that space. And I thought, well, later when this is all done, when I'm on the other side of this, maybe I will go into work with hospice and kind of try to go in and with families and paint those. So the thing is, paint their family soul, because you can get two kinds of communication. One where I'm reading back to you about your dog, or you can get a painting communication that will stay with you forever. And it's just a nice way maybe for them to have their loved ones with them always.
Yeah. Karen, I wonder if she could connect with Kira in the afterlife and paint something. But before we go quickly, I want to show another sample. This one was Sammy. And this one was very different. The colors are very different. The way it's all, the shapes, it's designed very different. So I wanted to make sure I showed this one as well.
You know what's crazy is that dog is a terrier. You know anything about terriers? It's like ball, repeat. I mean, the dog is not calm, but he chooses to be for his guardian, for his mother. He chooses to be. There's so many times he could go off the rails and he doesn't. And it's funny that I thought his painting would be completely different.
Right. Can you ask Hunter to be good for us?
I can communicate to Hunter. And that's the thing too. Like if you have certain things, you're like, if he's chewing on things or something, or when we're recording, could you not, whatever. Yeah. I can definitely like check in with him and
we're going to be gone.
We're
going to be gone for 2 weeks. And I'm just so worried he's going to think he's been abandoned.
I will let him know.
Okay.
Write this down.
He's staying with a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as Hunter gets exercised, that's most animals, but yeah. And then do you have bones you can leave with him? Not bones, but something to chew, a Kong or something to,
Yeah,
so
we're going to leave all kinds of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
But yeah, our biggest concern was, hey, we're coming back, right? Because he's had such a hard life before us that we can't help but think that he was probably abandoned by people in the past. And because of his reaction to us when we got him. And he's just settling in now. And it breaks my heart for me to think that he's thinking, oh my gosh, I just got this family. They just gave me stability in life and now they're leaving me, kind of thing.
He's not thinking that. And I'll send you his full communication or do an audio and send it to you.
Oh,
because the one thing you're talking about, he suggested when he first met you all to pet with the backside of your hands, his face.
I remember that.
Right.
So I don't know if I even told you, did I?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Yeah, but I'll send you his whole communication, but he knows that he's in it to win it. He's in it for you, with you, your family till the very end.
Okay.
A long life together. Yes.
This is a good choice for him.
It's where he's supposed to be. Yes. It's a divine intervention to put him with you for sure.
Yeah, he's such a nerd. I think he fits in perfectly.
Oh my God. And he's really clumsy. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So he fits right in.
He's so loving.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Such a loving.
Will's going to help him with confidence, which he totally needs. Because Will has confidence, and that's great. Yeah.
And that's what, he never reacted adversely to me at all. But I think he maybe had a situation with a man or something, because he has a couple times shied away when Will's, picked up a broom or something.
And that's what communications are good for, especially like adopted animals, rescued animals that come in. And, these are the challenges that we're having. And then I address those challenges. And things do get better. Let me ask you, did you notice any better eye contact or loving from him since I communicated with him? You don't have to say yes if you didn't, but
no, I think I did. Since the first time you communicated with him to this time, I've seen a difference throughout that course. Now, right before you came on.
So here's a question. He's from Puerto Rico. Do you have to communicate to him in Spanish?
No, but it's interesting. There's been a couple dogs from Puerto Rico that I've connected with. That there is no barrier. The soft knows no barrier. Of language barrier.
All right. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on you want to make sure gets out there?
Just that it's all about healing, whether it's for the animal or the human. And so a little different with my communications. I usually get information because the human and animal are intrinsically connected. I get information for both. I don't have to elaborate on the human part. It's up to them. But since it is a bond that relies on each other, it's good for us. I'm always getting what each entity needs for healing. So that and I guess that's it because I drew a blank. I'm just kidding. Cut that part. It's just about healing and growth. And I just want animals and humans to live as emotionally connected as they can, better understanding each other. Just for the animals' sake, or for our sake too. But
right. Well, yeah. That's amazing. We're going to add direct links to all your contactable areas in our show notes. If you go to skepticmetaphysician.com, go to Nicole's episode page, you'll see all of her information linked directly there. So it'll be super easy for you to access. And if you are just listening and you want to take a look at the paintings that we showed in the book, we will put those on our website as well. So if you go to skepticmetaphysician.com, you'll see them laid in there in the blog format as well. Nicole, can't tell you enough how much we appreciate everything you've done for us. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
And you. Yeah, thank you.
Look forward to seeing you again really soon because you're local, so we'll definitely get together.
Thank you so much. It was an honor, and
thank you.
I really appreciate your time.
And we appreciate yours as well.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for coming along on this journey of discovery with us. We'd love to continue our conversation with you on our website at skepticmetaphysician.com or on Facebook and Instagram under Skeptic Metaphysician Podcast. If you know someone who would benefit from hearing the messages we're sharing on the show, do them and us a favor and share the show with them. It will help get the word out about us, and it may just change someone's life for the better. And if you're listening to this on the radio and you missed something, well, not to worry. All of our shows, including this one, can be found at skepticmetaphysician.com, where you can also watch the videos or even send us an email or voicemail directly from the site. We absolutely love feedback and would appreciate hearing from you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as we have. That's all for now. We'll see you on the next episode of The Skeptic Metaphysicians. Until then, take care.